my fiancée said. I just need one last trip with my ex before marrying you, for closure. I smiled and said, of course. The next day, I called the caterer and the venue. She learned the truth at her bridal shower, in front of everyone. I, Ryan, 30, a senior software architect, had been with Chloe, 29, a high-end events coordinator for 6 long years. We were engaged to be married in 3 months. We lived in a stunning, but small, apartment in downtown San Francisco. My annual salary was $170,000. Chloe earned $80,000. Our combined $250,000 income barely covered our high-pressure lifestyle. Everything we did revolved around appearances. We ate at Michelin star restaurants once a month. Our friends were mostly Chloe's colleagues and wealthy clients. They all judged people based on their net worth. The final, definitive moment of betrayal arrived on a Sunday evening. We were finalizing the seating chart for our overly expensive wedding. I have something to tell you, Chloe announced, not meeting my eyes. Her voice was flat. I knew instantly that it would be something awful. What is it, Chloe? I asked, setting down my pen calmly. I need to take one last trip with Mark, she said, naming her former boyfriend. It's just for closure, Ryan. She insisted that this trip was vital for our future marriage. She claimed she needed to put her past to rest. I just need to clear my mind, she insisted, looking at me expectantly, before I commit to you fully. I felt a cold wave of realization wash over me. She was asking permission to cheat. She was completely disrespecting our 6 years. Of course, I replied, forcing a soft smile onto my face. I completely understand that, Chloe. I nodded slowly, agreeing to her unbelievable request. I had no intention of arguing or fighting. I simply planned my exit. The perfect escape opportunity arrived the next day. I received a final offer for a director of engineering position. The firm was moving its primary headquarters to Austin, Texas. The compensation package was enormous. The offer included a base salary of $320,000. There was a massive $80,000 signing bonus. Plus, I would receive $50,000 in annual equity grants. My total first-year compensation was $450,000. I presented the official offer, along with the detailed breakdown, to Chloe that same night. She barely looked at the numbers. Austin, she asked, her voice dripping with sheer disgust. That is a pathetic, second-tier city, Ryan. It's the director of engineering role, I explained, trying to stay professional. It is the C-suite path with significant stock. San Francisco is the only place for technology, she stated, tossing the paper aside. This proves you are a failure here. It is a tutored $80,000 raise in total compensation, I pointed out, my tone even. It allows us to retire early. She looked at me with cold, toxic contempt. You lack the courage for real innovation, she declared dismissively. You are running to a cheap state for an easy title. I simply nodded, accepting her insult without argument. Her betrayal and her scorn had made my decision easy. Update 1. I formally accepted the director of engineering role in Austin the very next day. The company wanted me to start in 5 weeks. My final and meticulous plan began instantly. I canceled the entire wedding. I called the caterer and the venue, forfeiting the initial small deposit. I explained that the event was called off due to a personal emergency. I immediately opened 3 new, separate bank accounts in my name only. I changed my direct deposit and transferred all my personal investments. I kept only a small amount in our joint checking account. I used the money to cover my half of the remaining apartment rent. Chloe continued to operate under the assumption that her dismissal had closed the Austin subject. She refused to discuss the job whenever I brought it up. She focused only on packing for her upcoming closure trip. I am not leaving San Francisco, Ryan, she would snap repeatedly. We are getting married here, not in Texas. I have secured a massive promotion, I replied calmly once. The move is happening, Chloe. It is a pathetic downgrade of your social standing, she insisted, repeating the core of her insult. I refuse to be a wife in a provincial city. Our mutual friends, completely under Chloe's social spell, echoed her toxic sentiments. My friend Matt called me, sounding highly judgmental. Chloe says you are throwing away your life for a small-time title. Matt asked, sounding skeptical. Why are you running to Texas? I will be the director of engineering. I informed him factually. I will be earning $450,000 this year. San Francisco networking is everything, he concluded, repeating the social creed. You are making a huge mistake. I let the judgmental calls pass without comment. I focused entirely on my silent preparations. I contacted a divorce attorney and initiated the no-fault paperwork. I had recorded all of the necessary evidence. I secured a 6-month lease on a stylish apartment in Austin. The calm preparation was my shield. Update 2. The bridal shower was scheduled for the next Saturday at a trendy venue that Chloe adored. It was the perfect, highly public setting for the inevitable truth. I had already packed my remaining 3 suitcases. My flight to Austin was scheduled for Sunday morning. I drove to the party, carrying the separation papers. Chloe was there, smiling brightly, surrounded by 30 of her friends and family. She saw me walk in and rushed over. She was momentarily confused to see me there. "Ryan, what are you doing here?" she asked, her voice sounding irritated. "This is my shower, not yours. I am here to ensure all the final arrangements are concluded," I stated, placing the large legal envelope on the main gift table. I then pulled out my phone and played the voicemail I had received from the caterer. It was a confirmation of the wedding cancellation. Everyone in the room heard the message clearly. "The catering contract is canceled," the woman's voice stated. "We'll look forward to refunding the remainder of your deposit." The entire room went dead silent. Chloe's face turned paper white. "What is the meaning of this, Ryan?" she whispered, her voice laced with pure fear. "Why did you cancel the wedding?" "I resigned my job a month ago," I stated clearly, picking up the legal envelope. "My flight to Austin is tomorrow. I start as director of engineering on Monday." I pushed the divorce papers and the asset division agreement toward her. Right there on the gift table. "I filed for divorce this week," I announced, loud enough for her family to hear. "I am leaving the marriage. You are doing this in front of my friends," she screamed, instantly dissolving into tears. "You are ruining my life, Ryan. You betrayed me and insulted my career," I countered, looking at her without emotion. "You chose a closure trip over me." She delivered the immediate, predictable ultimatum, pointing a shaking finger at the papers. "Fine," she spat out, her face contorted with rage. "You choose that pathetic Texas job over me. You choose money over your fiancé." I signed the separation agreement immediately, completing the final separation of our finances. "I choose the director of engineering role," I replied, my voice steady and cold. "I choose my self-respect." She collapsed into a chair, crying hysterically as her parents rushed to her. I walked out without a second glance. Update 3. The emotional fallout over the next 2 weeks was a relentless cycle of instability, primarily managed by my attorney. Chloe spent the first week sending torrents of enraged, abusive emails. She accused me of being a cold, calculating monster and a public fraud. "You will fail in Austin and lose everything," one email screamed. "You are going to regret this betrayal." The divorce is filed, and the separation agreement is finalized. My attorney replied to her lawyer, "Please cease all personal contact immediately." She then shifted to desperate bargaining, reaching out through my sister, promising grand, dramatic gestures of support. "Tell Ryan I will move to Austin and start my event planning firm there," she pleaded to my sister. "We can still get married in 6 months. The relationship is based on fundamental dishonesty," I instructed my sister to relay. "I cannot trust her character. The divorce is non-negotiable." When bargaining failed, she entered a period of exaggerated depression. She posted vague social media updates about emotional trauma and public humiliation. I remained completely logical and detached, focused only on logistics. Her emotional theatrics no longer registered. Moving day arrived, and Chloe was completely absent. She was too busy dealing with the public collapse of her wedding plans. I felt a profound, satisfying relief watching my 3 remaining boxes loaded onto the truck. The weight of her judgment and her constant need for status was finally lifted. My new life in Austin was immediate and calming. The director of engineering role was challenging and deeply stimulating. I was managing a highly professional and effective team. The cost of living felt negligible compared to San Francisco. I felt respected, valued, and finally, genuinely ambitious. Update 4. I spent the next 8 months completely thriving in my new city. I immersed myself in the role, successfully leading a massive infrastructure migration that saved the company millions. I joined a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym and a local data science fellowship. I made supportive, intelligent friends in my new neighborhood. My work success was exponential, earning me high praise and a massive quarterly bonus. My financial status was radically improved. The 80,000 signing bonus was a massive cash injection. I immediately used my substantial capital to purchase a beautiful, modern 3-bedroom home. The property, valued at 700 Zahlhausen, was in a desirable, quiet neighborhood. The mortgage payment felt incredibly comfortable. This was the first property I had owned outright, bought entirely with my new income. Around the 6-month mark, I started receiving confused messages from our old San Francisco network. Her bridesmaid, Maya, contacted me, sounding highly skeptical. "Ryan, I saw you on Instagram." Maya texted, sounding highly perplexed. "Chloe told everyone you had a breakdown and were fired for incompetence." "I am the director of engineering, Maya." I corrected her with calm authority. "I lead a major department and own a home here." "She told us you were broke and had moved in with your father," Maya admitted, clearly embarrassed by the lie. The extent of Chloe's fabricated narrative was astonishing. She had completely fabricated a story of my failure to protect her fragile ego. I ignored most of the friend messages, maintaining polite contact only with her parents. I knew the truth of my success was slowly, inevitably spreading. Update 5. My company announced a major round of funding, securing a massive new valuation. As a director, I was featured prominently in the press release and the internal company video. I posted the official announcement on my LinkedIn profile. The post included my full Director of Engineering title, the company's valuation, and my high-level role in the growth strategy. The undeniable truth of my 450K plus life was instantly visible to everyone who searched my name. Chloe's reaction was immediate and utterly desperate. My phone and email were flooded with frantic, pleading messages, all filtered by my attorney. "Chloe, Ryan, I am so proud of you. I always knew you were meant to be a director. We need to talk immediately. Chloe, I made a huge, terrible mistake. San Francisco is empty now. I should have supported you. Chloe, I see that you are an incredible success. We can still have the wedding, Ryan, please." Her desperate attempts to reclaim me, now that I was undeniably successful, brought a cold, sharp satisfaction. Former friends and colleagues who had doubted my move rushed to offer belated apologies. "I am truly sorry I believed Chloe's sad story," my old manager emailed me. "Director of Engineering is incredible, Ryan. You showed grit." "Thank you," I replied simply. "I am enjoying the leadership challenge." My family called, overjoyed with pride for my career and my new house. Their genuine validation was all I needed. I instructed my attorney to delete every single message from Chloe without a reply. My success was the only answer required. Update 6. The digital pleading reached a crescendo and was followed by an inevitable physical appearance. I was walking out of my office, building one Tuesday afternoon when I saw Chloe waiting near the curb. She was dressed in an expensive, new suit, clearly trying to project an image of success. "Ryan, thank goodness," she said, rushing toward me, her eyes wide with desperation. "I flew here this morning. I had to see you." "This is completely unnecessary and highly inappropriate," I stated, my voice low and firm. "We are divorced. I came here to tell you that I've changed entirely." She insisted, trying to block my path to my car. "I am ready to move to Austin and be the director's wife you deserve." "You said I lacked the ambition for San Francisco," I countered, looking at her without emotion. "You chose a closure trip with an X over our future." "I was selfish, I admit it," she pleaded, reaching out to touch my arm. "I was only thinking of my insecurity, Ryan. You were cruel, and you were a betrayer." I corrected her with calm certainty. "And you are only here now because my net worth changed." She started to cry theatrically, trying to force sympathy for her difficult situation. "My heart has changed, Ryan," she insisted, choking back sobs. "I love you. We belong together in this house. Your circumstances changed," I replied, my voice completely firm and unwavering. "My wealth changed, and you decided I was worthy. That is not love." I pulled out my phone and began dialing my security contact for the building. She saw the number on the screen and instantly realized the gravity of the situation. She threw her hands up in utter defeat and hurried away, heading back toward her rental car. The final, absolute rejection was complete. Update 7. Chloe's final, desperate acts of revenge moved immediately into the legal and public spheres. I quickly received aggressive letters from a new, highly specialized San Francisco attorney. They claimed a partial interest in my new house, arguing it was purchased too soon after the separation. They also demanded reimbursement for her portion of the canceled wedding costs. The letters were pure legal harassment. I forwarded everything to my Austin attorney, David, who was prepared for this escalation. I had meticulously documented the entire separation, including the wedding contract cancellations. David quickly prepared a sharp, factual counter response. He noted that the house was purchased with post-divorce income. He pointed out that I had forfeited only a small initial deposit on the wedding contracts. He threatened a countersuit for malicious litigation and harassment. The legal demands stopped entirely. Next, Chloe launched a final, bitter social media campaign. Using several anonymous profiles, she posted vicious, poorly written accusations. She claimed I was a ruthless narcissist, and that I had publicly humiliated her to steal her money. Her campaign failed instantly and severely. Mutual friends who had followed her dramatic unraveling stepped in to defend me publicly. They called her out for the closure trip and her blatant lies about my career. Old friend, Chloe, stop lying. He is a director in Austin. You left him for an ex, then mocked his job. Acquaintance, she threw away $450K and a diamond ring. Now she claims betrayal. We all know the truth. The public shaming and the clear evidence of her initial betrayal destroyed her remaining credibility. Her few remaining allies retreated in embarrassment. She deleted the accounts within hours and completely vanished from the digital space. Her attempts at revenge had only solidified my clean break. Update 8. 1 year later, my life was profoundly successful and stable. I had been promoted to Senior Director of Engineering, with my duties expanded across multiple core products. My base salary was 350 zalozen, and my overall total compensation package was now well over 550,000 annually. I purchased a second property, a small luxury condo in Vail for skiing. My net worth was substantial. I was in a deeply loving, committed relationship with my new partner, Veronica, a kind and brilliant data scientist. Veronica was completely supportive, generous, and entirely secure in her own success. I received one final, short message from Chloe via an old, defunct instant messaging application. Chloe, I saw a picture of your house and realized my error. I have nothing left in San Francisco. I am truly sorry for the words and the lies. I regret everything. It was a final, honest admission of her deep regret and the painful consequences of her materialism and betrayal. I felt a quiet sense of closure. I knew I needed to maintain the boundary firmly. Thank you for the message, Chloe. I replied, keeping it short and kind. I wish you the best for your future. I immediately blocked the account. The chapter was closed with quiet dignity. I was far past the memory of her betrayal, fully focused on the brilliant life I had built. Final update. A few months ago, I was back in San Francisco for a company offsite meeting. I called Chloe's parents, Jim and Carol, whom I had always liked and respected. We met for a quiet brunch at a small cafe, far from the city center. They looked subdued and visibly carried a weight of worry. Ryan, you look incredibly happy and well, Carol said, giving me a sincere hug. The promotion is remarkable. Austin was exactly the change I needed, I confirmed, smiling warmly. Jim looked at me, his eyes filled with profound sadness and regret. We owe you a major apology, son, Jim began, his voice rough and sincere. We raised Chloe to believe status and money were everything. We taught her that only the man with the biggest title was worthy. Carol confessed, her voice thick with genuine emotion. She could not see your character or your immense potential. She only saw the social life. She was very cruel about my career, I acknowledged gently. She was, Jim agreed, sighing deeply. And now she has nothing but the memory of the life she mocked and destroyed. That is her life lesson. I accepted their sincere apology with grace. Their admission of their flawed values and parenting provided the final, necessary emotional closure. The most important lesson I learned from Chloe's betrayal is profound. When someone chooses blatant disrespect and betrayal, your response should be a clean, rational, and permanent exit. Do not argue with their selfishness. Simply use their insult as the fuel for your complete, overwhelming success. Build a life of security, peace, and power that they can only see from the outside. Your undeniable success and self-possession will be the only revenge you ever need. I am 32 now, a senior director, and deeply in love with Veronica. I am happy, financially secure, and completely fulfilled.